The story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, found in Genesis 2:3, is one of the most well-known narratives in the Bible. It tells of the first humans created by God, placed in a perfect paradise where they lived in harmony with nature, with each other, and with God. They were given freedom but one boundary: not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When tempted by the serpent, they disobeyed. This act, often referred to as the fall, introduced sin, shame, and separation from God into the human experience. Historical context: Genesis was likely written during or after the Babylonian exile, 6th century BCE, a time when the Jewish people were wrestling with identity, suffering, and the meaning of obedience to God. The Eden narrative reflected deep cultural concerns about disobedience, human responsibility, and the consequences of moral failure. It responded to ancient questions. Why do we suffer? Why do we die? Why is the world not as it should be? Metaphorical meaning. Metaphorically, the story isn't just about a man and a woman in a garden, it's about the human condition. The garden represents innocence and wholeness. The tree symbolizes the boundary of human understanding and moral autonomy. The serpent can be seen as temptation, deception, or ego. Eating the fruit represents our desire to define right and wrong for ourselves, stepping outside the bounds of trust in something higher. The result is alienation, not just from God, but from each other and even from ourselves. It's a story of awakening, but also of losing something precious in the process. Modern-day relevance. In today's world, the Eden story resonates deeply. People constantly face choices between what's easy and what's right, between self-interest and higher values. We live in a culture obsessed with autonomy and instant gratification, modern versions of the forbidden fruit. Just like Adam and Eve, we often realize too late the consequences of our decisions: broken relationships, damaged trust, inner conflict. The Eden story also speaks to our ecological crisis. Humanity was placed in a garden to work it and take care of it, Genesis 2:15, but we've often exploited rather than stewarded the earth. The exile from Eden echoes the consequences we now face from ignoring boundaries: environmental, ethical, spiritual. Reflection and inspiration. This story is not just about failure, it's also about responsibility, hope, and redemption. Adam and Eve are not destroyed. They live on, start families, and begin the human story outside Eden. That's powerful. It reminds us that even after we mess up, life continues and we can grow. Mistakes don't define us. We can learn. We can choose better next time. For modern readers, Eden calls us to humility. It challenges us to recognize the limits of our knowledge and the weight of our choices. But it also inspires us to seek wisdom, nurture relationships, and live more fully in harmony with ourselves, others, and the world. Even outside the garden, life is full of meaning. And maybe, just maybe, the journey back to Eden begins with how we live today. A short note from the channel creator. Thank you for supporting this journey. Your presence means everything. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment to help this message reach more hearts. You're warmly invited to join the Bible Echoes community, where ancient stories speak life into today.